We are human athletes and we train for ministry. Imagine two different pastors. The first one, we'll call him Pastor A. He trains in the gym 3 times a week. He takes 10,000 steps. He gets 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep sometimes. He has plenty of margin for time with his wife, time with his kids, and he makes sure that his schedule is well preserved, well organized, and tidy so that whenever ministry things come up, he's always able to help where he's needed. But then there's Pastor B, and Pastor B doesn't go to bed on time. Pastor B does not get enough sleep. Pastor B usually doesn't have very much margin in his schedule. And so Pastor B has a hard time finding any possible way that he could do things he knows are good for him, like working out or taking more steps or eating more nutritiously or even making homemade foods instead of just eating out. And most people would say that the difference between Pastor A and Pastor B is that Pastor A is more health conscious. But I think that's the wrong approach. I think there's something deeper. In my opinion, Pastor A is training for ministry. See, we're all human athletes, and that means we're all training for something. So if Pastor A is every day doing different things than Pastor B, all of those things are training him for something. What are they training for? Well, Pastor A is training for ministry, but Pastor B is training for burnout. And that means that he's going to get exhausted. He's not going to last very long in ministry. And arguably, his health will be worse than Pastor A in most cases. So his ministry will last shorter without burnout because he's going to die sooner. He's going to age faster. And so I think if you were to put this into any other context, that would be unacceptable. If a general were asking, how can my troops get fat? How fat can they get before we lose? I mean, Olympian coaches. How slow can my athletes run before it really starts to matter? Or the great NFL coaches from history. How fat, how tired, how malnourished can my athletes get before we start to lose games? No one's asking that because they're training for a purpose. They're trying to win, not to lose. And so every part of those athletes, every part of those troops' lives are dedicated to being high performers in their craft. And the problem is they are training for stakes that pass away when they die because those medals can't go on with them into eternity. Those trophies cannot live past their epitaph. And the generals and the troops who lost their lives fighting in wars are ultimately fighting for nations that die to the corridors of history or to the return of Christ. So if they're fighting and they're training and they're battling, warring day after day after day against mediocrity, against passivity, against the things that cause them to fail in their crafts, and their stakes are temporal, how much more important is it for us who train for the ministry to train for longevity, health, and stewardship? We're all training for something. Train for ministry.